Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement. For regular viewers and listeners of AWI Pod, please do not be offended, as this program contains good wrestling.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Take it off in my arms, it's the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me laying face down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Warring to Attitude. I am your host, Brent Piles. This is the 39th edition of Warring to Attitude, where Glenn and I, my co-host, review 1997. And this week will be no different. It's a special show this week. And I already said his name. But with me, as always, is a man who is from across the ocean and from the future. He is the ballroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than the SummerSlam. At G Russell Nut Glenn Abbott. Glenn, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I have an opinion on this one.
Oh boy, so you have an opinion on the SummerSlam, or you have an opinion on something else?
No, on the SummerSlam.
Is it an opinion you're going to share now, or is it an opinion you're going to wait till later to tell us?
No, I'll share it later.
Okay.
MS United have just gone 1-0 down, so they're definitely going out now.
Who are they playing?
Bayern Munich.
Oh, they're playing Munich. Okay, well then, I mean, they lost to fucking Galaxia, the Turkish team, so of course they lose to Byron. Of course they'll lose to them. We won our group in the Champions League, so we are on to the round of 16. It was kind of a droll performance from us, but it was exactly what I thought I expected. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was 8 changes from the team that lost to Aston Villa. Well, got robbed by Aston Villa and the VAR.
In fairness, though, they did not play up to par against Villa. They had many chances that they didn't put a good foot on. And
I'm just so fed up with all these VAR decisions. And it's not just with Arsenal. When you've got a seasoned manager like Roy Hodgson, who's the manager of Crystal Palace, basically saying, why am I still doing this with the decisions that are the way that the VAR and everything is ruined, and the officiating is ruined football?
Yeah, so like over here, American football, there are controversies about video reviews and such, but I don't think it's in such a manner as it is with English football, because the problem is there's no continuity between the way one official calls it to the other, so you never know what you're looking at, or it's basically on the judgment, or you're on the mercy of the official that day.
Yeah, I saw that on social media. I think it was yesterday that Mahomes is getting his tighty whities in a twist over the officiating.
In fairness to Patrick Mahomes, I like Patrick Mahomes, and everybody knows I love Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, who's her boyfriend, plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, so I of course root for them. Your guy was lined up offsides, Mahomes. Sorry, there's nothing you can do about that. If you look at the replay, his foot is fucking offsides. Like, sorry, but he was. He's offside.
Anyway,
but yeah, we won't complain about officiating too much. Not this week, anyway. Maybe next week we might, but not this week. But Glenn, we are going to get into the show here. It is SummerSlam 1997, which took place on the 3rd of August in 1997. Super early in the month for a pay-per-view. Very strange, right? Especially a SummerSlam.
Luckily, with New Jersey, it's not one of those places that's over hot, is it?
I mean, it can get, but I don't think it's one of those places. I don't think it's like the South.
It's like here, you take your chance with it rather than that it's going to be
right. And it's August. It's going to be summer anywhere you go, except for maybe Alaska. I don't know. I never.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at the Continental Airlines Arena, which opened in 1981. It was mostly used for the New Jersey Nets NBA team It hosted the 1982 NBA All-Star Game and the 1984 NHL All-Star Game, so there's that. Also held 7 WWE pay-per-views over the year, including 2 other SummerSlams, Glenn. SummerSlam 1989 was held here, and SummerSlam in 2007. It also held King of the Ring 2001, No Mercy 2004, No Way Out 2012, and the very last pay-per-view was Extreme Rules 2014, which I believe is the pay-per-view that Brock Lesnar made his WWE return after many years away, I think.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was around that time. I might be a little bit off, but I think so. Also held over 15 Raws and SmackDowns, starting in July of 98, and the last show taking place in April of 2013. This arena has been closed down, but has yet to be demolished, as the city of East Rutherford is trying to find a new way to use the arena. So there you go. There's your arena information for the week. We kick off the show with the national anthem, which you don't very often see.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of all the pay-per-views that we've watched from 1997, I don't believe one of them kicked off with the national anthem.
No. I think it's just a SummerSlam tradition more than anything.
Maybe that, but I guess they always do show it at WrestleMania, but I guess I don't remember or recall if they do it every year for SummerSlam. But I also think it's because we're doing the whole United States versus Canada gimmick thing. So
yeah. Let's whip up the USA thing a bit more.
Yeah, definitely get the crowd a little bit more hyped up before we get the show kicked off. Yeah, so that makes sense. So they do all that, and then we get one of those wonderful black and white promo videos to kick off the show, and let's have a look at it, Glenn. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, excellent. This is.
In a perfect world, there would be no villains, no conspicuous manifestations of hate. Athletic excellence would be applauded. Sportsmanship would be the rule. Our heroes would remain heroes forever. If life were fair, then this legend would be lauded in his pursuit of an historic 5th World Wrestling Federation Championship. Instead, he's a fallen idol, America's public enemy #1. The respect abandoned, the legacy bludgeoned and spat upon by a society he feels condones defiance and perpetuates hate. If life were fair, then this mighty champion, this survivor of deception and conqueror of all earthly hells, would surely revel in the championship spotlight. The bright lights wouldn't singe his aura, illuminating a dark, horrifying secret from a distant past. And if life were fair, then this man might still be champion, dancing, flying, showcasing his extraordinary talents to legions of fans. He wouldn't be an athlete betrayed by an unwilling knee, a man surrendering a boyhood dream to search for the lost smile of youth. Is it fair that tonight, even in victory, this champion will be haunted by personal demons whose voices cry out from the dark? Is it fair that tonight this man may rewrite history, yet still incur the wrath of a hostile and unappreciative nation? And is it fair that tonight's special referee is a despised enemy of the challenger? Will vengeance flow ruinous from his biased heart, ensuring that tonight will be the last night Bret Hart ever wrestles in this country again? Life isn't fair, but whoever said it would be.
Whoever said it would be, Glenn.
Talking about Shawn Michaels' knee, just quickly coming back up to date. Did you see Becky Lynch's promo on Nia Jax?
I did hear something about, she said that that Nia Jax is so unlikable she had to get a double ACL surgery because even her own knees can't stand her or something like that.
That's it, yeah.
I didn't see it, but I read it online, and that's pretty goddamn good.
It was.
Hold on 1 second here, pal. Okay. All right, so the show kicks off, and we got also, before we get into that, I thought it was rather funny that they had to throw in the stuff about Shawn Michaels and his knee into that video. Like, I realize he's a special guest referee, but was that really necessary to tell the story of Bret Hart and the Undertaker?
Probably not. It was probably just they had that many minutes to fill that with that, so they had to stretch it out with that, I suppose.
That makes sense. Like we could get 30 more seconds in there. Yeah. We then kick off the show. Lots of pyro. As the pyro is going off, you can see the big blue steel cage is already set up. So the opening match of the night will be Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on Mankind inside the big blue steel cage. This is one of those steel cage matches where you can't pin or submit your opponent. You have to escape the cage to win. They, of course, show us the history of these two men brawling everywhere all the time.
Yeah, which they've been doing, as we know.
Yeah. And they say that China probably shouldn't be a factor tonight because it's inside of a cage. What do you think, Glenn?
This is nitpick number one. Yes, it's inside a cage, but this turned into the China show.
Well, I mean, she had some feats of strength in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mankind, huge reaction from the crowd as he comes out. Hunter quickly, as soon as the bell rings, tries to jump out the door.
I love that idea. Nobody else has ever thought of that. The minute bell rings, I was shin up the cage or dash for the door.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a lot of sense to try to do that. Mankind starts rubbing Hunter's face into the cage. He launches a fury of punches on him. He hits a pile driver. He looks like he's about to leave out the door, but China just shuts the door on him and just kind of stares him down.
It was one of those things where the cage did it no favors with that, is because they had to get that close. You could see from the close-up that Mankind was just sort of brushing his face with the cage. He wasn't really driving it in there.
I mean, until you get to when Hunter's, driving Mankind's face into the cage, and he just does it because Mankind doesn't care anyway.
No, that's it.
So China really gets involved when Mankind locks in a mandible claw on Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he's got like his back to the cage. So China gets up there and she kind of like pulls his hair a little bit and allowing Hunter to escape the claw. So China does get involved several times. What did you have in your notes about this one, Glenn?
Just that she reaches through the cage and she's choking him out. The referee doesn't do a thing about it. I think this is going to happen a few times where she gets involved. And I know there's technically no rules, but the idea of a cage match is so there's no outside interference. But they just sort of turned a blind eye to all the outside interference. Get her out of there. Yes.
I question that too, because that's the thing is you'll see guys get kicked out from ringside for less. And even if it isn't a cage match, I distinctly remember that the WrestleMania 10 ladder match, Diesel didn't even get caught being involved. The referee thought he was involved and ejected him from ringside. So I guess it's one of those things in wrestling where they want you to remember it sometimes, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a couple times Mankind tries to climb out. China, punches him like it looked like she tried to punch him in the balls, but it looked like she just like punched him right in his butt cheek. He just gave him a shot.
That wasn't going to do him a lot of harm.
No, I'm sure Mick's taken many a falls on that backside up until that point, and that punch probably
he's well padded in that area as well.
Yeah, but then Hunter hits a superplex from the top of the cage, which you would think would be enough to win, and it might have been because he started to leave, but then decided he wanted to punish Mankind more, and shut the door and got back in there.
Yeah, but again, you tried to escape in the first seconds. Now you've got a chance to. Why not get out of there? Take the win and get off. Then go back and beat him up.
We've seen classic heels. We've seen heels do that. Not classic heels. I don't mean that. We've seen lots of heels over time do things like this. So it's not, it's not outside of the norm for something like this to happen.
No.
So then Mankind finally gets his hands on I mean, then Triple H just starts throwing Mankind into the cage. And when I mean throwing him into the cage, like, I'm surprised it didn't break.
Yes. Yeah. I think he got a bit fed up with it at that point. Wasn't treating him gently there.
No, he chucked him about 10 times, I think. Something like that. Hunter looks like he's going to climb out. Mankind stops him. Hunter's like basically hanging by his ankle on the cage. Mankind's able to pull him back in. China again gets up on the cage, lands some punches on Mankind through the cage. Mankind like, so he like picked Hunter up in like a suplex and then like hung his feet up on top of the cage and then ran off the ropes and then slammed his body into him, which was the sight.
That looked impressive.
It did. Up until that point, I don't think I'd ever seen anything like that in a cage match, you know?
Hunter took her usual after where they're fighting on the top rope, and Hunter takes the usual drop onto the crutch, which always happens with somebody when they're fighting on the top rope.
Bound to happen at least once. Then his feet got like tangled up in the ropes too, and it looked like Mankind was gonna escape again, but China again is there, and this time she slams the door on his head. A good old fashioned. It was like when Terry Gordy slammed the cage on Kerry Von Erich's head. Is what that one was like.
And beats up the external referee.
She did, yeah.
Again, another reason to be ejected from the ringside. Well,
she ejected him into the steel steps, so I guess he didn't have another word to say about it. So there's she throws a chair into the ring. Hunter goes for a pedigree on the chair, but Mankind counters, and then so China's standing up on the cage. Mankind counters the pedigree, and then he slingshots Hunter into the cage, which knocks China down. I don't know why she was up there. I guess she needed a better look. She originally climbed up there to throw the chair in, didn't she?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That's what it was. So then, Mankind hits the double arm DDT on Hunter, and then he starts to climb out of the cage.
Guess what happened then?
What happened?
China interfered again.
She sure did.
And I think this was a botch. I think she got her timing wrong because it looked like Hunter had to send her back. So it's not yet. You're not at the right point yet for you to get up there.
Yeah, it did look something like there was something a bit off there. We also have to remember China's been in the business like 6 months, something like that at this point.
Yeah. Because Mick, being the ultimate professional he is, I think he was supposed to try and get out of the cage at that time, but he realised it's all gone south with the timing. So what's he do? He just goes up to the top and then does a flying elbow.
Yeah, well, it looked like he was going to leave completely because he was all the way out, and then something clicked in his brain. He climbs up there. He rips his shirt open, exposing his heart tattoo. I guess now he's become Dude Love. And just like his idol, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he comes off the top rope with a big elbow. He then climbs out of the cage. China gets in and tries to grab Hunter and pull him out, but she's not able to do it in time. And Mankind is the winner. He wins the cage match. They start playing the Mankind music at first, but then it stops. The Dude Love music starts playing. His foot starts tapping. He gets up, and now he's officially Dude Love. He tries to dance, but he's in a lot of pain, so he couldn't dance that much, but he did dance a little bit.
Yeah. He was sort of hobbling rather than dancing.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a decent opening match. I didn't have a whole lot of grievances with it. I know we didn't like the outside interference, but I was also anticipating it coming. So
I suppose it's because they have a better one later in the month as well. It's about a month later where they have another one, and it's a lot better.
They have another cage match?
Yeah.
Really?
No, just a match.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a fun ending.
It was all right to start the show, and it gave gave one of the two faces of Foley to recover before he had to perform again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We didn't see Todd Pettengill on the stage, Glenn, and this is kind of a sad day, Glenn, because this is going to be the last time we're going to see Todd, because this is Todd's last night with the World Wrestling Federation. So after this, there'll be no more Todd Pettengill. What do you think of Todd Pettengill? Did you like Todd or no?
I like Todd Pettengill, but little did we know that his replacement, the fresh-faced youth at the back, would still be commentating now.
Yeah, we're going to see another young gentleman. We've seen him before, but this is his first pay-per-view experience. And I actually have a video of his first pay-per-view experience. We'll talk about that, man, when we get there. But yeah, I mean, I love Todd Pettengill. Like, the era that I was most into wrestling was probably from when I was 8 years old until I was about 17. And most of those years, Todd Pettengill was the backstage interviewer. So when I think of my childhood wrestling memories, I always think about Todd Pettengill. So I love Todd Pettengill. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to see him anymore after tonight. But it is unfortunate as well, Glenn, that we had to suffer through this entire boring segment.
Yeah. And I take it the Governor Whitman, she must be a Republican.
No, Christy Todd Whitman was a Democrat, but now she is an independent. She's an independent now.
Oh, but amazingly, I suppose it's because it was saving Vince money. That's why they supported her.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is pro everybody saving him money.
Yeah, pro not paying taxes.
Honestly, Glenn, I thought the same thing when I saw it. I thought, and I'm not like vilifying a Republican or whatever. I'm just saying that I figured it was a Republican because it was with Vince McMahon and he's kind of in bed with Republicans. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say that. But yeah, so she gets a championship belt from Gorilla Monsoon. They've also got the Headbangers with them, which I didn't understand at first, but I guess the Headbangers are from New Jersey.
New Jersey, that's purely it.
And they're referring to her as Christy Tax Crusher Whitman. Yeah, and I thought to myself, like, couldn't they have done this on the free-for-all?
Yeah.
Like, this didn't have to happen on the pay-per-view. It just didn't need to be on there.
Talking about other things that need to be on there, really, was then we get to see Tiger Ali sing and his dad sitting in the audience.
Yeah. The kids were clamoring to meet Tiger Ali sing, even though no one
knew who he was, really. I think we've seen him once before.
I was going to ask you. I think we've seen him once before, but I can't exactly remember. But I don't think he wrestled either. It was maybe it was when they did the Kuwaiti Cup. Maybe when we seen him.
Yeah. I think it was something like that.
Yeah. They also show us that they had a WWF beach earlier in the afternoon, which I'm sure was hot, Glenn, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yes.
Glenn, what's the first song you're playing if you're DJing at a SummerSlam bash party? It's a hard one.
It is.
I would go with Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift, but that's just me.
I'm trying to think back to then what it would be.
Oh, in 97?
Summertime.
I suppose I gotta look up
something like that.
No, what did you say?
In the summertime, something like that. In the summer.
Now I gotta look up and see what was the number one song. August 1997, because we need to go. We need to know, Glenn. Let's see. Number one Billboard in August of 1997. It is "I'll Be Missing You" by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans. That might bring the mood down, so we might not play that one.
No.
That's Mo Money, Mo Problems. Or "Umbop" by Hanson.
Umbop.
That
would probably be better.
"Hypnotized" by Notorious B.I.G. was out around that time too, so maybe you'd go with that one. That's a good one.
Bye.
Wow. Did they lose? Did they score another one?
No, he's finished 1-0. So they're
Manchester United, you suck, and we're not sorry, Manchester United fans. So now we go to Goldust taking on Brian Pillman. So this is our first weird stipulation match of the night. Yes. If Goldust wins, Pillman's going to have to wear a dress tomorrow night on Raw.
Yeah. So, looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to that. So we get a pre-match promo from Pillman where he says, I know Marlena wants me in her dress, but it's not going to happen because he's not that easy, and she's going to have to wine him and dine him first," he says. Then what'd you think about this match?
it's obvious that Pillman isn't fit enough to move properly.
Yeah.
Goldust is slow at the best of times. He's in his slow period. So it was a bit of a plodder, this one.
See, I don't know. See, I didn't think it was the greatest match ever, but I also didn't think it was. I didn't think it was terrible. It had its moments.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was just a bit of a plodder. It was an average Raw match.
Fair. Yeah. It definitely.
If it wasn't, the only reason that these two are in this match is this silly stipulation to fill the card out.
Yeah, it's like because they took from that 5-on-5 that we watched at Canadian Stampede, they took every single one of those and made an individual feud out of every one, except for LOD didn't get one and Neidhart didn't get one. He just has Neidhart is gonna have to fucking shave his goatee. Spoiler alert: he's gonna have to shave that motherfucker. So don't think I forgot. He better shave that motherfucker on Raw on Monday. Shit.
If I remember, he does.
I hope he does.
That's one thing that never comes to pass.
See, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking on the other side, Glenn. I'm thinking that they never bring it up again, and they just think they're going to forget.
Yeah, it's like the lockbox. It never gets brought up again.
That's right. We're locked it away. Lock it in the box. God damn it. So Pillman attacks Goldust for the bell rings. Goldust, Pillman tries to do like a reverse atomic drop, but Goldust is able to catch his feet before he can land it, and then he gives Pillman a big kiss. Which was an interesting part of the match. But yeah, like you said, Glenn, you can definitely see that Pillman just isn't in a state where he's able to move around the ring with all the ankle injuries. It just isn't there.
He's not Flying Brian anymore.
No, he is grounded Brian. It's actually kind of sad to see when you watch what he used to be and like kind of what he's doing now. The promo skills were always there, and even I would say now in 1997, his promos were better than they ever were in WCW. But now his body just can't do it anymore, and it actually is kind of just sad to watch. And as you know, soon he's not going to be with us anymore. So
that's it.
Yeah. So eventually it's down to the end of this thing, but they both get kind of like tied up in the ropes. That was a weird spot too. The finish. Yeah. Goldust tried to do like a sunset flip from the outside to the inside. It looked like he landed right on his fucking head, so it's lucky he didn't break his neck. But instead of like moving on to a different or trying to do a different spot, they try to still stay into this thing. So it just looked awkward. Marlena hits Pillman in the head with her purse as they're tied up in the ropes, and then Goldust is able to roll him up for a 3 count. So that means Pillman's going to be the dress tomorrow night.
I'm wondering if it was just a total bot, and they called that Marlena hit him with the purse. That he was supposed to take the sunset flip, but couldn't actually go over. It was sad anyway. It was sad. At least we get a bit of comedy out of it. Because I actually, watching this back, I can remember watching this, and I can remember watching the Raws after it.
Yeah, I remember. I was at my grandma's house. I didn't get to watch the pay-per-view, but my cousin bought the tape over the next day. So we watched the tape that afternoon, and then we watched Raw that night. And I'm really excited for the next Raws that are coming up and the pay-per-views that are coming up, because there's so much good stuff coming up after in the coming months. But anyway, so Marlena throws the dress into the ring. Pillman tears it up. Not a great match, but it was still better than I thought it was going to be, because I didn't think it was even going to be as good as it was. Not to say that it was great, but it was an okay match.
Yeah. Again, it was an okay match.
Yeah.
Which is this whole pay-per-view, considering it's SummerSlam, is built into 2 matches. Unfortunately.
Right, yeah. They really only put a whole lot of build into the 2 matches, and when we'll talk about it when we get to the main event. But I didn't even, as far as the combatants inside the match, the 2 facing each other, they really didn't even build a lot of story between those 2 at all. We'll talk about
they were too busy with other things.
Yeah. So then they announced the record attendance for the arena, 20,213, Glenn. But in context, it's a WWF record. It's not a building record. It's not a city record. It is just strictly a WWF record. And I tried to find like real attendance records for this place, but I didn't find shit. I searched 8 Google pages and found nothing, and I washed my hands of it.
It was a duffer as far as SummerSlams go on buys, though. There was only like 200,000 buys or something like that.
Yeah, I read that the ratings had been going up, but the pay-per-view buys were still pretty soft at this point for WWE.
Yeah. Again, there's not enough matches on it to hook people in.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get it when you look back at it.
Even if he didn't show up, if they'd teased that Kane was going to show up,
oh yeah,
that would have made the Undertaker match more interesting and got more people into buying it, because people were watching the Raw at the time, although they were flicking between Raw and Nitro.
They were going back and forth. Yeah, I mean, I know I was. So yeah, the next match is another match. This match was just kind of there. The Godwins take on LOD. It's a grudge match. Of course, LOD broke Henry's neck.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a who can break whose neck match.
Yes. That should have been the stipulation. First neck broken, neck loses. Pre-match promo. God damn it. Hold on. We are going to listen to the promo from the Legion of Doom. But first, I need to add it to the thing so we can listen to it. Hold on. Yeah, we got a pre-match promo from LOD. JR also lets us know that they've never lost at SummerSlam. So I've come up with a new name for them, Glenn. I've decided that we should start calling them Yellow D because they're always yelling.
Yeah.
Well, we've been slopped. Can't say we like the taste of that. We've been slop dropped. We've been hit over the head with buckets. And tonight, it all ends here in the Meadowlands, New Jersey. Dig it, because we're gonna. That's right, revenge is sweet. That's your say. And tonight, payback is gonna be hell, God wins.
Gonna be hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that name, Yellow D, because they're always yelling.
Yelling, yeah. They yell at everything.
Glenn, go ahead and tell me about this one.
It kicks off with a brawl. So all 4 men brawling. So Hog, very stiff clothesline off the apron onto the floor, which looks a bit gnarly. And that causes the Godwins to just sort of back off and throw a bit of a tantrum.
Yeah, Phineas likes to throw those tantrums.
Yeah.
Especially when he starts mule kicking. That's my favorite part.
That's right. And then Animal misses a charge on Phineas, and Henry gets in as well. So then they do the usual thing as we flattens the pair of them. So off they go again and throw another strop.
Yeah. Captain Lou Albano was out there.
I didn't notice him, to be
You
honest.
didn't see drunk ass Captain Lou Albano in the front row? That motherfucker was lit.
Yeah.
If you asked him what year it was, he would have told you 82. I don't know. He was lit. I can't believe you didn't see him.
It was just that sort of thing. You know, Henry then chokes Hulk. They end up on the floor, and Hulk runs Henry into the stairs.
If I could describe this match in one word, it would be slow.
It was slow.
You thought the Brian Pillman Goldust match was slow, and then this one came on.
Yeah. Even the finish. They they set up the Doomsday device and then changed their mind.
Well, Phineas came in and they had Hank set up for it, and then Phineas came in and broke it up.
Yeah, but it just seems like, oh, we can't do that. We might break his neck again, so we've just do a pile driver instead.
Yeah.
Assistant pile driver.
We don't want to do that. We can't break his neck. I got a better idea. We'll give him a spike pile driver. That'll be okay.
Yeah.
No at risk there for neck injury.
No.
Yeah. And that's how they win. The LOD gets the 1, 2, 3. And I hope this feud is over, but I don't think it will be, considering JR kept talking about, oh, this ain't over. I'm like, oh, please let it be over. There's got to be something else LOD could do besides this. Oh, boy.
Just remember, people, when you are reminiscing with your rose-tinted glasses about the good old days of the Attitude Era, we had the Hog Farmers against LOD and DOA against Los Boricuas.
And we had to sit through the SummerSlam $1 million chance. Glenn, we had to sit through that. First we see ungrateful ass little Ryan, who apparently got to bring more than one person with him because he had 3 with him, didn't he, Glenn?
Yeah, he did. He's still been as surly as ever.
Now, Patrick looks exactly what you think a wrestling fan would look like in the 90s. He's bald. He's got really tight jean shorts on. I don't know why. And it was like all he had was tight jean shorts. Every time we saw him, he had a different pair of tight jean shorts on.
Yeah. And probably still had to get his mother's permission to ring the hotline.
Probably. Probably. So, yeah, they also they have Sonny and Sable out there with Todd Pettengill. And they're going to try to give away $1 million. Ryan's 12 years old. So how you do this is there's a big wall, a WWF logo wall. There's a bunch of keys on this wall, 100 keys.
Yeah.
Not drugs, people. I mean like keys, like actual keys that unlock stuff. And so you got to pick a key. So Ryan picks number 12. I really hope 12 didn't win. And then Patrick, I'm saying Ryan is 12. He's 12 years old. He picks the number 52 key off the board. And then Patrick, they didn't say how old he was, but he's really skinny and he looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He picks number 13. And then we're going to make some phone calls, Glendon. Do you think these phone calls work out?
Of course not.
Not the first one.
Why would they? They ought to know by now. You have the people already on the... This is Vince trying to save bloody money again.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere else, you making live phone calls, you ring the person up backstage and you tell them, we'll tell you when you're going on air. Right? 3, 2, 1, you're on air now.
Right.
Don't dial live.
Because the first caller, nobody answers, so they try to call somebody else. That number doesn't work. And then I'm starting to understand why Todd Pettengill quit this job.
Yeah.
Then it got a little bit better for him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
He's trying to read the numbers, but there was a lot of...
They finally got a guy who actually wasn't even watching.
Yeah, that was the funniest part. Yeah, the guy gets on like, are you watching SummerSlam? No. He said his cable company didn't carry it. So he picks number 33, Glenn, and they try it out, and guess what? It don't work. So all that for nothing. And then I love Todd Pettengill's snarky, now go find somebody who can award SummerSlam and watch it.
Yeah.
Fuck this job.
Yeah.
We're going to call more people. Thank God this person, they answer, the first person they call answers. She picks number 14, and guess what? It don't work either.
No.
Yeah. But I guess everybody, Glenn, don't worry. They get a $5,000 savings bond. So,
that's fair for all that aggravation.
It's not bad, yeah. I mean, Todd Pettengill deserves one at least for all this aggravation.
Yeah.
So they give Ryan's key a chance. Ryan's is wrong. Fuck you, Ryan. I'm sorry. We're cursing a 12-year-old. He's not 12 anymore, damn it. Anyway.
Getting that close to Sally and Sable, I bet he wasn't 12 for very long that day.
That was the day Ryan became a man. Absolutely. Then Patrick gets up there, and of course his key doesn't work either. So nobody won $1 million. It's actually number 3 that opened it up, and this is like 10 minutes of our lives, Glenn, that we're never getting back.
Yep. After all those weeks of the unfathomable clues,
nobody wins.
No.
Well, they won $5,000 savings bonds, and those one people got to go to SummerSlam, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, they did win. They didn't lose out. That was Vince was trying to say, because Tom Pettengill kept forgetting that, and Vince was going ballistic. He forgot to tell them that they were winning the $5,000.
Yeah.
Savings bond.
He didn't tell the first person at all. The second person he told, but the first person, I don't know if they called them back, but they didn't know.
Mhm.
He probably hung up because they called him a dumbass for not ordering SummerSlam.
Yeah.
All right, next up, the next match is Ken Shamrock taking on the British Bulldog. It's a European Championship match, and if the Bulldog loses, he is going to have to eat a can of dog food. They show the dog food on the desk. And then they announced, Glenn, an upcoming pay-per-view, September the 20th, 1997. It's called WWF One Night Only, and it is a UK exclusive pay-per-view. And I thought because it was a UK exclusive pay-per-view that we could get another guy from the UK to come on and review that for us. And Dan Griffin from the UTT Wrestling Podcast has agreed to join us to review that. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming in like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. And they say that night that the Bulldog will be taking on Shawn Michaels. So that should be interesting. I've never watched that show, Glenn. Never seen it.
I don't think I have either.
Well, there we go, pal. There we go, pal. Ken Shamrock comes out, and he comes out meaning business, Glenn, because he doesn't have a silk robe on.
No, he's all business for this one.
Yeah, he definitely.
Which is just as well, really, because there was no real build-up to this, apart from the fact that, as you say, this was just one of those random matches plucked out the 5-on-5.
Well, they did do. I think Bulldog he attacked Shamrock, and then Shamrock lost his first match by count because of Vader because of Bulldog. And then Bulldog.
Because Bulldog slammed him on the ramp, didn't he?
Yeah, and then all the chair shots during the arm wrestling match, the Raw before those two. So they had some stuff go back. So it was really like a blood feud, and it started like a blood feud because they immediately started brawling all over to the outside of the ring. They were throwing each other in the ring post, the steps, all over the place. The match there was more rest holds in it than I thought there would be.
Yeah, it wasn't. There's a lot of attempted submissions and not a lot happening.
Yeah, a lot of really, and then when there was rest holds, there wasn't any movement in the rest holds. It was just like holding a headlock for a while. So
it basically was two guys that weren't interested in going more than a few minutes.
Yeah, maybe that was it. It wasn't really hard hitting as I thought it was going to be much slower. There was a low blow in this match, which I think we can safely say now, Glenn, that low blows are no longer illegal in 1997. They're just fine.
Yeah.
Because we see them every show and nobody says anything. They fight the outside. He throws him to the steps some more. They're trading punch on the outside. Eventually, Bulldog picks up the can of dog food and just wallops Shamrock in the head with it. And I guess that's enough for a disqualification.
I don't know how Shamrock actually started bleeding.
The dog food can, maybe?
It may well have been because.
Well, he's bleeding out of the mouth, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe his lip got busted or something.
Yeah, but they didn't seem to be hitting each other hard enough for it. So.
That's a good point.
You had a cage match, no blood.
Maybe it was the ring post.
His handbags at dawn, and then one of them ends up bleeding. There you go.
And then he grabs some of the dog food and wipes it on Shamrock, and Shamrock loses his goddamn mind. He starts beating the shit out of the Bulldog, smacks his head,
and they both get counted out basically.
I think they call it I'm pretty sure the ref called for the bell when he hit him with the can of dog food, which I don't think that's enough for a disqualification if a kick in the nuts.
It wasn't very clear anyway what happened. there were several reasons why it ended.
Yeah, it ended for several reasons. The only thing that matters is Ken Shamrock lost his mind. choked Davey Boy. They couldn't get him off. They had to get everybody out here, including Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. And then finally they get him off. But then Shamrock loses it and beats up all the referees too, and Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. All of them besides maybe 2 referees. The fans were going nuts for this.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
it's always fun to watch the Stooges flying around.
Not me, Glenn. I love referees, so I do not condone the violence against referees.
No.
I was actually thinking if they need to get him off, Shamrock off him, where's Gerald Briscoe? Because if Gerald Briscoe will hook him, get him off.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? You probably haven't, but it was like a documentary about WrestleMania 19. It was called like The Mania Behind WrestleMania.
No.
And I think you can find it on like Daily Motion because it's not even on YouTube. But there's a part after the Angle Brock Lesnar match, because you know Brock does that 450 and like lands on his fucking head, where they can't like Brock. They're trying to help Brock, but Brock's like freaking out on him because you know Brock's like a caged animal. So if he's like what's going on, he's just gonna start fighting people up. So they literally had to have Gerald Briscoe over there and just fucking get a hold of him. Gerald Briscoe's like 60, and he's controlling Brock Lesnar. They were like, he's the only one.
Nobody in MMA could, and nobody else in the WWF could, but Gerald Briscoe could.
Had to be Gerald Briscoe, yeah. I just always thought that was pretty fucking crazy. So yeah, not the best match, but the ending was fun.
Yes.
For what it was. We then talked to Shawn Michaels, and they asked him if he's going to put his career on the line to get even with Bret Hart. And Shawn Michaels says, look, there's nothing between me and Bret Hart. It was all settled last year at WrestleMania when I beat him. Bullshit.
Yeah.
He's going to call it right down the middle tonight, Glenn, and nothing's going to get to him, he said. And then, Glenn, it's time for the match that everybody's been waiting for.
Oh, yeah, the highlight of the show.
Glenn said, Undertaker versus Bret Hart, forget about it. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hart, go to hell. I want the Los Barricas versus the DOA.
Yeah.
So DOA comes down. They shake hands with the Spanish announce team. And then DOA comes down on their motorcycles, which gets a big reaction from the crowd. Because I guess who doesn't like the motorcycles, right? So yeah, this match took place. What'd you think?
There were little bits of it that were all right. The Harris brothers did a good job of launching. Who was it? Jesus.
Yeah.
Onto the turnbuckle from a height. So I threw him up in the air and he came down right on his chin. Boom.
Yeah, parts of it were hard hitting.
Sorry?
Parts of it were hard hitting.
Yeah.
That's for
sure. They just, I don't know. I can't see what they're doing with this.
Yeah. It's
especially.
It's faction warfare, Glenn.
It baffles me. It baffles me totally.
It's just a big brawl of nothing.
Oh yeah, well, if you're gonna have a gang fight, have a gang fight. Don't have a gang fight that's pretending to be a wrestling match.
Hold on, Glenn. Hold on. Wait a minute here. You mean to tell me when y'all are gonna have a gang fight over there and y'all don't get 4 guys together and getting into a ring and make sure everybody tags in and out and try to pin each other, make somebody submit? That's not how y'all do it.
No.
We've been doing it wrong in America. God damn it, Glenn.
I've seen West Side Story. They don't do it on there either.
That's good. Yeah, so eventually the Nation of Domination comes down through the crowd and make their way down to ringside. It was basically just, there was 3 cool minutes and 7 minutes of my life that I wanted back.
I have to feel. You have to feel for Ahmed Johnson. They had this one spot where they come down. He does one power bomb, and bang! There goes his knee again.
Yep. He hit a Pearl River plunge on the fake Undertaker guy on the outside of the ring. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And done himself in again.
Yep. And basically, it ends in a smosh. They're all like fighting.
Yeah.
They're all fighting in the aisleway, and you can see Ahmed Johnson limping off.
Yeah, yeah. As he did the last time that this lot brawled.
Yeah. If I'm Ahmed Johnson, like, you got to go out there and brawl. I'm not doing that. No. So yeah, match ends in a DQ. Well, no, when he hit the Pearl River plunge, he threw the fake Undertaker back in the ring, and then Savio Vega pinned him. So Los Barricos did win the match.
So the gang fight won by a pin.
Yes, which is all gang fights in America too, Glenn. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All the teams are brawling. Eventually, Crush tries to run some motherfuckers over with his motorcycle twice. Luckily, he missed. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you run a motherfucker over with your motorcycle, and do you get arrested for that or no?
Oh, definitely.
In wrestling, do you though?
No, not in wrestling.
I was gonna say. It doesn't in wrestling. You can do that, but anywhere else, you cannot do that.
There's a lot.
Even if you did that in real life, if you tried to run somebody over with your motorcycle in that fashion, you would be in trouble.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in wrestling you'd get arrested for in real life.
Yeah, if you talk about on this show, there were several things that would probably
Yeah.
in real life. So the next up is going to be the Intercontinental Championship match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart. And just remember, folks, that if Stone Cold loses, he's going to have to kiss Owen Hart's ass. So, and then we get a little segment here with a man who's making his pay-per-view debut. And let's see how it went for him, Glenn. What do you think?
Yes, yeah, go for it.
Austin, it's just Stone Cold. I need a quick word with you before the matchup tonight. I got a word for you. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to put your reputation on the line tonight? You would have to kiss Owen's backside if you lose in front of all these people. 20,000 people, 1 million people out there on pay-per-view. Mr. Austin, are you ready? Just what?
You're fixing to kiss my ass. You don't get your little ass out of my face. You got that? You and your stupid little boat guy. You don't impress me none, you little piece of trash. Michael or...
You're basically kiss my ass if you don't leave me alone. Oh, that's great. What a pay-per-view debut for Michael Cole, huh?
Yeah.
He'll be abused by several superstars.
With his little bow tie.
Oh, that was fucking great. Yeah, so Owen comes out first, and that was probably to set the crowd up for the hugest pop of the night when Austin comes through the backstage area. Yeah, the fans went nuts for this one. I mean, this was a really good wrestling match, but it's only ever going to be remembered for one spot.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is definitely unfortunate, because if you go back and look at this before you got to that spot, it was a really well done match, and I would have liked to see where it was going to build to after said spot, to see what the ending was supposed to be, because it was a really good match on the way to the one spot that everybody knows and remembers, right?
Yep. We get Owen early on. He goes into butch mode. Starts pulling on Stone Cold's fingers and biting him.
That's because Owen starts doing the Butch/Pete Dunne special and bends Austin's fingers back and bites the middle one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wrote down the exact same thing. That's great. Yeah, Owen was like working on the knee a lot. There was like a lot. Oh, wait a minute, am I getting my wires crossed? No, Austin was working on Owen's knee. That's what it was. Owen was working on Austin's neck, which is kind of apropos.
Owen tried to get work. He went for Austin's bad leg right at the beginning, where he kicked his legs out from underneath him.
That's what it was.
But that didn't work because Austin got up and just pressed him.
That's
beat the crap out of him. And that got the crowd going finally. For the first time this night.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd was dead especially for the 6-man, the 8-man tag. Until they started brawling at the end, they were dead.
Yeah. It is that thing. you've come for two things, and they're going to put them on back to back at the end of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably should have changed that up a little bit. You're right about that one. Yeah, so Owen has the upper hand for a while, but Austin fights back. He hits a stun gun, which if you don't know what the stun gun is, it's where he picks you up and drops you on the top rope.
Yeah.
And he even, I think Owen was looking for a Hurricane Rana, but then Austin counters with the power bomb. Yeah, this was a great match. I mean, both guys went back and forth, and Owen hit a great German suplex, which almost got the win. Austin starts landing punches on the outside, and then Austin's landing punches on the inside, and that's when the spot happens.
Yeah,
Austin
just before that, there's a belly to belly, and then Owen does a neck breaker, and JR, talk about commentators' gob, as they say over here. He starts going on about how Austin's got historical neck problems.
Yeah, oh yeah, he did say that, didn't he? So yeah, JR very apropos there. Yeah, so they go. Austin comes off the ropes. Owen comes off the ropes. Austin tries to pick him up for a pile driver. Owen counters, of course, and Austin's head's way too low. He drops Austin right on his head, and as soon as that happens, you can tell something's very wrong. You just tell by the way you can see the way his feet were turned out like this.
Yep.
Like that ain't normal.
Yeah. No, that is unconscious.
Yeah. And so Owen starts baiting the fans, just trying to buy Austin time, and eventually Austin's able to roll over, and then they do what is probably the worst rollover in wrestling history. But actually, when you look back on it, thinking of what happened to Austin, it's the most miraculous roll up in wrestling history. He gets the 3 count, he wins the title, but I'm sure he didn't feel much like a winner.
No. So, yeah, sadly, I don't even think that match would have ended up carrying on. Now, I think soon as the lights went out on Austin, the referee would have stunk the X up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they would have stopped. No, yeah, that doesn't continue nowadays. It's over.
No, that's over at that point.
Yeah. But it's always funny to hear Austin tell the story because he says, I'm sitting there, I can't lose to him because if I do, I'm going to have to kiss his ass.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, they would throw up the X and they would never have a kiss your ass match now. But if they did, they'd throw up the S and you wouldn't be thinking about kissing nobody. His ass would be.
No, that's right.
Get medical attention out here.
And, they don't even. Just a couple of referees pick him up and sort of drag him out.
Yeah, they wouldn't even do that nowadays. Yeah, no way. They try to get him up and have him hold up the belt too, and he does, but you can tell, I don't even know where I'm at. Is what he's the look he has when he holds the belt up.
Yeah, he's definitely an autopilot.
100%. Yeah. So that, I said, it was a great match. Just a really unfortunate ending.
Yeah, I would say it's sad, but we don't know what would how Steve Austin would have gone on if he hadn't had to have adapted the style into the brawler that he became.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, because if you watch Austin, when he's in WCW and in this era, he just moves different. You can tell.
Yeah.
I never realized it as a kid, but when you go back and look at it, you can just tell by just the way he moves, just the way he walks, that he's different. But bless you, Glenn. Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so now it's time for the main event. Undertaker taking on Bret the Hitman Hart. So yeah, the crowd was booing Bret like crazy when he comes out. He gets on the mic and he asks everybody to please, he asked everybody to stand back. He didn't ask them to stand up. He asked everybody to stand back. I thought the Hurricane was going to come out, but he didn't.
Yeah, no, that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I was like, well, damn it, Bret. You set me up for nothing here. But he wants the Canadian national anthem played, and so they do play it. I'm sure to hype the crowd up more is what they were trying to do. It's also strange that the challenger comes out and then the special guest referee makes his way to the ring. I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, with full entrance.
With a full entrance and fireworks for the special guest referee. So there comes Shawn Michaels. Then the lights go out and the Undertaker comes down. And like the Undertaker is just the third wheel in this whole thing. This entire thing has been between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. The Undertaker has barely had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So, like, they really didn't build up anything to this match because it hasn't been between Undertaker and Bret. It's been between Shawn and Bret, and then there's the Undertaker.
The Undertaker has been all about Paul Bearer.
Right.
That had nothing to do with Bret Hart at all.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
Hold on.
Go break it.
But anyway, yeah, so like I said, Undertaker felt like kind of a third wheel going into this thing. Yeah. Shawn Michaels checks both guys, which I've never seen done ever in the year 1997, so I thought that was interesting. Shawn Michaels is apparently the best referee this company has.
Yeah.
He is doing everything by the book. But then Bret starts attacking Taker before. Go ahead and tell. What do you think about this one, Glenn? Tell me about it.
I love this. It was exactly what it needed to be. It was Bret Hart, good wrestler, against Undertaker, good character.
And I always felt like Bret Hart was always at his best when he fought someone who was bigger than him.
Yeah.
Where he felt like he had to fight from underneath. And I realized like he's a heel, so he's not supposed to be fighting from underneath. But I just always thought his best work was against guys who were bigger than him. Like if you go back and look, I mean, he had the career. Kevin Nash wasn't known as a great worker, and no disrespect to Kevin Nash.
No,
but his best matches came with Bret Hart. Go watch the Royal Rumble 1995 match. That's a great match. Watch the Survivor Series 95 match. That's a great match. And there weren't a lot of great matches in 1995. And if there was one, it had Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels' name on it,
Yeah. It's got to be the fact that Bret isn't, although he's like 6 foot plus, he's not the biggest.
Right.
And probably, with the reputation of his father, had to train against bigger men all the time.
Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked every day. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good match, great technical match. I think they went for like 30, 35 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I never got boring. I never
no.
It was like, oh, why is this taking so long? And even when they were doing rest holds or what you would call a rest hold, they were still doing something at the same time.
That is exactly it. That is always been my big thing about American wrestling as opposed to British wrestling. Is that a lot of rest holds appear to be rest holds.
Right. Like you can tell they're doing this just to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bret Hart locks in the figure 4 around the ring post on the Undertaker. Paul Bearer starts making his way down to the ring here. He's doing a throat slash at the camera. This was a great spot. Taker's like he's beating on Bret Hart, gets Bret Hart down. He goes back to kind of while his back is turned, goes over the top rope, lands on his feet, and he just starts pummeling Paul Bearer. Which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Then he goes back out, and then Bret comes and chop blocks him from behind while he's beating on Paul Bearer too. Eventually, Owen Hart and Pillman come down to the ring too. There's a lot of tension in this match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
And surprisingly, Bret goes for obviously the Undertaker's legs a lot because he's looking at trying to get the sharpshooter on. It ends in a pin, which has surprised me.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to make the Undertaker submit.
Oh no.
Yeah, you couldn't do that. Yeah, so that around that spot is when like Shawn and Bret are really kind of getting in each other's faces, and it's really starting to build now. Because Taker starts beating up Owen and Pillman, and then Shawn Michaels makes them leave, and then Taker choke slams Bret and goes for the pinfall, but Michaels is dealing with Pillman and Owen, so then Undertaker's mad at Shawn. He kind of grabs him by his shirt, pulls him into the ring, and they're kind of arguing back and forth too. The ring post really took a beating on this pay-per-view, Glenn, because I think in every match somebody got thrown into the ring post.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Bret, he always uses ring posts very very well anyway.
Yeah,
manipulating people's joints around them.
Yeah, he did it here. He takes Taker and takes him around the ring post and pulls like a sharpshooter on him.
Yeah.
And then Shawn gets up there and he's trying to pull him off. And I think Taker kind of kicked his legs off. And when he did that, Shawn and Bret go both crashing down. And Shawn's more worse for the wear. And then when this happens, Bret gets a chair and he cracks the Undertaker in the head with it. Then he tries to pin him, but Undertaker kicks out. And then Shawn Michaels finds the chair. Him and Bret Hart are kind of arguing back and forth. And he's like, "Did you use this?" And Bret tells him, fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
Spits at him. Shawn Michaels, pissed, of course, because some spits in his face, goes to clock Bret Hart with the chair. Bret ducks. He clocks the Undertaker with the chair. Has no choice but to count the 3 count.
Yeah.
And now Bret Hart is the 5-time WWF champion. Yeah,
because if he disqualifies Bret or anything like that, he has to go as well. So he has called it down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not Bret's fault that you hit the Undertaker with the chair, so you can't. Shawn Michaels can't disqualify himself.
It shows, as you say, this was a 30-minute match, but it didn't seem like 30 minutes.
No, it went by quick. Yeah, definitely. It was a really good match. It might be the best Undertaker Bret Hart match, maybe.
Yeah, and I suppose it did. The end of this match also did whoever it is that has to clean up the arena at the end favor as well, because most of the trash that was laying around in the arena ended up in the ring.
Yeah, they just chucked it all in the ring. Yeah. You'll have to see
gather up at the end.
Yeah. Michaels immediately leaves the ring and heads to the back. Taker looks like he's after him. Yeah. Bret Hart is celebrating in the ring, and like the fans were weird because I think they were shocked. I think people were shocked because everybody was standing, but there really wasn't any sound. No, there wasn't a lot of booing. There wasn't a lot of cheering. People just looked shocked, which is what you want, right?
Yes, that's right. And that was a good thing about having it at SummerSlam and not having it at WrestleMania, because you could have got away with that hokey finish with the streak.
Oh, that God, that wouldn't have been good. It would have been fine at WrestleMania 13. We didn't even know what a streak was.
No.
But yeah, so the Hearts come out, everybody minus Neidhart, and they're celebrating with Bret Hart as the show goes off there. It was a really good match. The finish was well done. I mean, I don't know if you can. It was a good thing because they had to get the belt off of the Undertaker because the Undertaker needs to get into this Kane feud, so he can't have the championship on him at that time. So I think this was a good way to do it. And now we've got a heel Shawn Michaels probably.
Yes, yeah. Again, it's that sort of thing. It wasn't a classic match, but it leads to so much more as we move down the road towards the end of 97 and into 98. You
mean it wasn't a classic pay-per-view? Is that what you mean?
Well, the whole thing wasn't, but even that match wasn't a classic.
It wasn't an all-time classic. No, I wouldn't put that like in my top 25 greatest matches or anything.
No, I wouldn't even put it in the top 10 Undertaker matches.
Oh, no, definitely not. No.
But for what it achieved, it was perfect.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Can't disagree with that. So, what do you think for this pay-per-view? We giving it 2 thumbs up or 1 thumb up? I'm going 1.5.
1.5. That's exactly where I was going with it. 1.5.
Yeah. I mean, there was some good stuff. I enjoyed the cage match. The 3 matches between that and the Owen Hart And main event match were really dull. I think you could have maybe planned that out a little bit better. Maybe stuck one of them in the middle. That might have helped out a little bit. But other than that, I thought it was an entertaining show. It didn't drag on or anything. I didn't feel like I was watching it for 8 hours. It wasn't like I was watching WrestleMania 32 or something like that.
No, thankfully, it wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't so bad. We're going to get into some more interesting stuff because there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up. Looking forward to...
Well, we're going to see Brian Pillman in a dress.
We're going to see Brian Pillman in a dress. We're going to have a heel Shawn Michaels probably. I mean, we're pretty close to DX Foreman. That's going to happen here goddamn soon.
Thank God. Praise be. End of rockabilly.
Well, he's going to be the New Age Outlaws are coming too, so you won't have to hear that song anymore, Glenn. Unfortunately, it is my favorite part of the show when it does come along, but I know it's not. But anyway, Glenn, that's it for this review of wrestling. That is the last of this review of SummerSlam 1997. Who do we need to plug before we get out of here?
Well, we already plugged him once, but I'll book in the territory with Danny and Unity Rob in the first and last of wrestling, and unstacking the Dadatory, which is their side project about Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks leading up to their Wembley match of 1981, which was the most watched wrestling match ever at 18 million viewers.
Let me also add, Glenn, that right now you can watch we can watch our what Les Kellett and Bobby Barnes watch along match with the UTT guys on our YouTube page right now and on Spotify. So check it out. Yeah,
they've had to put their Les Kellett thing on hold for the time being because they're having some logistic problems with that. But DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc, Bang Bang Podcast, Andy and Steve. Andy's doing his little side project of his Christmas crackers. Give them a listen to. I'm on one of them coming up at some point where we review tribute to the troops from 2005. So the two Santas.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Foley versus Santa JLB. And of course,
the Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. Check that out.
Definitely.
SJP World Media is where you can find that if you're looking for it. Got lots of good shows on there, so check that out. Make sure you check out SportsWire Radio and give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all social media. It's Thomas BRICE, Thomas Bryce. Check that out. And make sure you visit sportswireradio.org and hit that play now button, and you can listen to our show and a bunch of other great shows. And also make sure you check out the other shows that we do. We were supposed to have a show out this week where we watched an episode of Superstars, but unfortunately my audio didn't record, so it's lost to the airwaves now. It was a great show. We met the 456 kid, but you guys will never hear it.
No, oh dear.
And of course, check out the Live Times of Psycho Sid. Last week he went into the Royal Rumble and got screwed over by that dirty Hulk Hogan out of the WWF Championship. And now we're working our road to WrestleMania 8. He's going to destroy many jobbers and the barber shop on episode 14. So make sure you check that out. And make sure you follow AWIPod Sid Facts on Instagram and on Threads, where you can hear such things as Psycho Sid doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Those are your hashtag Sid Facts.
Excellent.
So give that a follow. Check out all those things that I just spoke of. And that's it. That's all, I believe. And now it's time for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Taking talk in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by.